Good morning. Welcome to the Committee on Public Safety, Judiciary, and Homeland Security. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kinlock.
Present.
Commissioner Clemente. Here. Commissioner Basham.
Here.
Commissioner Scott.
Present.
Chair Clark Coleman.
Here.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none.
C, approval of the December 7th, 2022 meeting minutes.
Move approval. Support.
Been properly moved by Commissioner Kinlock, supported by Commissioner Basham. Are there questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries. Next item, Madam Clerk.
D, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Next item.
Item 1, under new business, communication from Samaya Harb, forwarding the December 2022 report on Sheriff's Office overtime costs.
Move to receive and file, Madam Chair.
Okay,
Support.
well, now we will hear from Samaya.
Good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. Samaya Harp, Director of Administration at the Sheriff's Office. This is my overtime report that I send to you on a monthly basis. As of November 20th, we had spent $2.6 million in overtime. Our budget was $8.8 million in overtime for fiscal year 2023. We have things that are beyond our control that exacerbate the increased cost of overtime. One of which is the number of vacancies that we have. In fiscal 2020, we hired 84 police officers and we lost 80. In fiscal 23, we've hired 25 police officers and we lost 16 to retirement and resignation or termination. Another criteria that we have no control over is the individuals, the staff who are on FMLA. That number has been increasing since the pandemic. For fiscal year 2023, as of November, we had 88 people who have received FMLA approval. And the other thing is the number of employees who have tested positive. For fiscal year 2023, since October 1st, we've had 16 people who've tested positive to COVID.
Are these are the ones, these that are testing positive, are these police officers? All these police officers?
Well, no, they're with these, it's all staff at the Sheriff's Office. It could be police officers or civilians. And it could be that they've tested positive more than once throughout the year since the pandemic.
So how many vacancies do we have?
As of November, we've had
for police officers.
359 vacant police officers as of November. I'm sorry. Yes,
359 vacancies?
359, yes, and 40 civilians positions.
For police officers.
359, yes, ma'am.
And what did you say again? You said 4 years ago. What did you say?
No, I said 40 for civilian positions.
Oh, 40 for
Civilian.
civilian.
Yeah.
Okay, 40 for civilian.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it looks like we need to do some recruiting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you just give me a brief explanation of what we're doing to recruit more deputies.
We've hired 2 more recruiters. We use the media, the social media to hire them. We're right now, we have a couple of advertisement and a couple of the cities through the county. We go to recruitment events. There's not a recruitment events that all of our recruiters are there. We are trying to put a budget together to start marketing and advertising on the radio and in the paper. So we're putting that together. So that's going to be next.
So of those of the police officers that we're losing, are most of those due to retirement? are they leaving to go to other positions? Do you have a way of determining that?
Well, yes, we do have, because we follow, at their exit interview, there's a form that they fill out and they can tell us why they're leaving. Some would leave within 2 days after they get hired in as police officers. When they realize that the overwhelming process at the jail, they just leave. Some of them are retiring just to start something different. They don't even want to be in as a police officer. Some are going to different agencies where they can collect more money.
What percentage of those are going to other agencies where they can get better benefits and more money?
If you give me a moment, I can go back after this meeting and I can, because I have the database, I can tell you what the percentages are.
You can provide that to us later on.
Yes, thank
I'm just saying that one of the reasons that the chair established this task force is to look at those kinds of things. So we need to really know how many police officers we're losing to other agencies because they will have better benefits or better salaries. So I'd like to know that from
That's
you.
Great idea. That's a great idea. I can go back 3 years and then put up percentages to those and then just send it to you through Joe, of course.
So it looks like we need to do 359 vacancies. We need to do a lot of hiring because they're leaving, more leaving than we're bringing in.
Yes. That's been the trend. Yes.
And that's not good.
No.
Okay, we have Commissioner Basham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There is a program that was used by a number of agencies, like I know the state police had it, where you could actually retire and then come back to work. And we had talked about it, but I haven't heard the status of where that's at with the county. That is actually a program where you have experienced police officers, that have left, that's willing to come back if they can continue to work under contract. They don't get any more, seniority, those sorts of things, but they can, you do not have to pay medical benefits because they're already getting that. But it's a program that worked with the state police for a number of years to keep their levels the same. And that's something that I think Wayne County could be doing. Also, I was just in a meeting a couple of days ago with my largest community. I represent 5 communities, and their police department is hiring, negotiated with the union, is hiring people from other cities or county and allowing those people that are now becoming local police officers to keep their seniority. And they don't, let's see, how does it go? They keep their pay, but they don't get, they don't get seniority, but it's something they negotiated with the union to actually, so that way it would benefit them to actually leave a community, that they wouldn't be losing the time that they'd put in the other community. That would actually go on to the local community that they're going into. So there's all sorts of ways. My point is, there's all sorts of ways to have the union and the county to negotiate with individual police officers to try to do more recruiting. And I haven't heard anything about any of those kinds of things that the sheriff might be doing. So I'm very much interested in if the sheriff is exploring with cities that are hiring, how they're getting those police officers to go work for those cities.
So Commissioner Basham, that first example that you quoted about officers who have retired and would be willing to come back on a contract, that's similar to what the teachers are doing, because there's a shortage of teachers also, and they're allowing some of those retired teachers to come back and work on so many hours on contract. But it's something that we probably ought to look into, especially on a temporary basis. Samaya, have you guys explored that?
Yes, that's, you speaking of the drop program,
Yes.
and the chairwoman, that's on her agenda to discuss it and see how we can further that. Um, So yes, we are exploring all options, believe me. And that's one of the things that we put together for the drop program to present to the chairwoman as well as the CO's office, so for consideration.
Any other questions or concerns? Comments? Members? Madam Clerk, would you please, no, this is a receipt and file. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of an intergovernmental agreement with Schoolcraft College.
Hey, Samaya, would you just explain to, especially to our new member, what this contract is all about?
Through the chair, this is an IGA with Schoolcraft College where they provide training academy for police officers so they can be MCO certified. Per the CBA, we are required to send 18 officers per year. 13 of those are candidates by seniority, and 5 are candidates are discretionary. They are pick of the sheriff. Because we cannot send all 18 at once, we broke it down into 2 academies. We don't want to, because the jail are so overwhelmed with shortages because of the vacant positions, we could not send all 18 at the same time. So we're sending 9 for the January academy. We'll send another 9 for the July academy. The reason the agreement does not have both academies on this one is because Schoolcraft notified us that there will be a price increase for the July academy. So when they didn't know how much it was, so we can only bring forward to you the January academy and not the July academy. We'll do an amendment for this agreement later on. But I wanted to let you know, because we talked about it last year, about another option to start the training academy there. We found out that Wayne County Community College will be providing the same training, but they're not ready for us this year. They said they might be ready.
Excuse me, you said Wayne County Community College?
Yes, ma'am. They're in the process of putting a program together so they can provide the police training academy, but they're not ready. They'll be ready next year. So next year we'll have more options.
So, Commissioner Clemente, this is a program that they enroll, that we can send police officers for MCO, which is become certified officers. And they are there for how long? How long does it take? Because they have to be there for a period of time.
12 to 16 weeks. I don't have the information in front of me, but yes, they stay there for a few months.
So they're there full time. So that therefore they can't work in their jobs. So they're away from the jobs so that they can get this training and become certified, and then they come back. But yes, ma'am.
The chair, I do have a question. So in our summary, it says from January to May. Do all 9 of them go, or do you split it up between like 3 go at a certain time?
Yeah, that's what she was saying, that we normally send 18, but we don't want to take 18 officers away because we're already short. So we're only saying 9, but yeah, the 9 have to go at one time because that's the class period.
From January to May,
Yes, ma'am.
all 9. Okay, that's what okay, very good. Thank you.
Commissioner Basham.
Hey, Madam Chair, Schoolcraft College requires that we send 18 for the year. If we only send 12, they're still going to charge us for 18. Is that correct?
Not sure.
Through the chair, it's not the Schoolcraft requires, it's the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, POAM, collective bargaining agreement. We dictate how many people we send. So let's say, to your question, Commissioner Basham, if only 12 qualified, we only send 12, and 12, we will pay for only 12. Because there's testing before these officers can go in to the training academy. So if they fail, they cannot go to the training. So we know that ahead of time.
Well, it's funny that you should say that because I had a previous conversation that we were going to send, it was a small, like 3 or 4 sheriffs to the training for Schoolcraft, but they were going to charge us a minimum amount. It's like 6 or more. And so the county, I was told, didn't send them because they didn't have enough sheriffs to go to the training or be able to have the time. So anyway, it's interesting. The other thing too is if we do send them to get MCOL certified, as I understand it now, they're not required to stay with the county. So why would we go through the county to educate folks and pay for the education and have them leave as soon as we get done? Is there any negotiating on that to try to get them to stay or incentives?
The union has to agree to incentives. We'll bring that up in the next negotiation. As of right now, the CBA does not speak to how long the officers can stay after they get their MCOLS license. We don't have that in our CBA.
Well, that's something that the county should be negotiating on. I mean, there's 2 sides to every negotiation and it don't seem like we're on the management side pushing that. So thank you.
I would totally agree with you, Commissioner Basham, that if we're going to pay this money to get them certified, then there ought to be some stipulation about how long they should stay with the county after that, because we're just training for other agencies. They could go through this training and come back and work a month and then leave and go somewhere else. And then we've spent all this money. How much does it cost per person to get this training, Samaya?
In total is $62,850. Divide that by 9. Sorry, I don't have my calculator in front of me.
Okay. So it's about $62,000 for the 9 of them.
Individually, it would be $6,983.
Okay.
To math. Just want to let you know too, that stipulation was brought forward with the city of Detroit for their police department, and they took that to court, and the union won, and they could not put that stipulation in the union in their collective bargaining agreement. We looked into that as well.
Mr. Basham.
But it's also the time that they're getting paid for going to school. So the 6,000, what we're paying the college. But then also there's wages that got to be fed into that also. And then we train them for that amount of time and then they can just leave the next week. It don't make a lot of sense to me.
So Samaya, so there's nothing that we can do to prevent this from happening. Is that what you're telling me?
That's exactly what I'm telling you. We looked into this, and we looked at the city of Detroit, what they do and how they did it and how they lost the lawsuit. The negotiation is starting in the next few months. I'll definitely bring that up to the undersheriff's attention as a item that they should be discussed and negotiate with the union.
So Samaya, so how do you select these 9 people?
Well, we let the union know that we have an academy coming up. They have 13 candidates that they can recommend and 5 from the sheriff for a total of 18. They select them based on their seniority. And then we test them. If they fail the test, they don't go to the academy. If they pass the exam, it's a written exam and an agility exam, then they can go to the academy. But from a union perspective, it's based on their seniority.
So you're saying that you let the unions know that there's a class coming up.
Yes.
And did you say 30, that they submit 30 names? Is that what you say?
No,
Oh, 13.
13.
13 names. For the 9 positions?
No, for the 18 total positions.
For the 18.
Remember, there's
So
18.
they submit 13 names. And then the sheriff submits names also?
5.
Okay. Okay, so that's 18 Anybody else submit?
No,
Okay, so, so all the ones that they submit, these are the ones that go through the training, is that correct?
not necessarily, because a lot of them will fail the agility test. If they don't pass the test, they cannot go to the academy.
So what happens if they don't pass the test? Do you get other applicants?
Well, yes, we ask them for more applicants, and a lot of times their list is exhausted, and we would have to reduce the number of people that would go to training.
So you said that the Wayne County Community College is working on a similar program
Yes, ma'am.
to train these officers to be MCO certified, right?
Yes, ma'am. And they said they'll be ready next year, hopefully. They're
Next-
working, they're not ready this year.
They'll be ready next year. Okay. Any other questions? Hey, do I have a motion?
So move.
Been properly moved by Commissioner Scott, supported by Commissioner Clemente. Are there any other questions or concerns on the motion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kinlock,
Yes.
Commissioner Clemente,
Yes.
Commissioner Basham, Commissioner Scott, Chair Clark Coleman.
Yes. The motion carries. Next item, Madam Clerk.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I have not been informed of any other matters.
Public comments.
Okay, is there anyone? Okay, would you please open the lines?
The lines are unmuted.
It is now time for public comments. So if there's anyone on Zoom or on the telephone who would like to make a comment at this time, please do. Begin speaking.
And Ms. Coleman,
Yes,
this is Bill Wellborn.
yes, sir.
This school that they're talking about, what exactly do they teach? Because if they can't learn it in the academy here, then they don't need it as far as I'm concerned. And to lose 18 officers, with us being already short as it is now, we can't afford to lose 18 officers. I don't care how long it takes, and I don't, unless it's FBI training or something that's going to be good and more beneficial to the county, we don't need it. And like a lot of these guys get this training, and they leave here, they go to Oak Park, and you can't blame the guys. They start with $10,000 more a year. There's a lot to be considered on this. I don't like it myself. I will be honest with you. And I've been working with the police department on a lot of things about the schools for years. It's always been a problem. These guys go to academy here, and they spend 2 years at number 9 and number 8, which is the troubled precincts. And when they leave there, they're excellent. So everybody grab them. Myself, I think I'd like to see the commission look into this more, and it shouldn't be mandatory that they at a certain amount of police go.
Thank
That's
you.
all I got to say.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So is there anyone else on Zoom or on the telephone who would like to make a comment at this time? Last call. Anyone else would like to make a comment at this time? Madam Clerk, do we have any emails?
There are no emails.
So public comment is now ended. Next item.
Adjournment.
So move.
Properly moved by Commissioner Scott, supported by Commissioner Clemente. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those